Hey, I'm Lynn, and welcome to my Lynn Ferris Watercolors Capturing the Light YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to talk about some more of the elements of design and composition that go into a successful painting. If you saw my first video about design, welcome back. If you haven't, check it out for more tips. As I've said before, strong design is a critical part of any painting. And while sometimes a painting will evolve as you go, knowing what makes good design will give you a starting point, a roadmap, and some tools. So let's get started. This is one of my favorite paintings. It started out as a really bad photograph. So this is the photo I started out with. I took it in Havana one evening at dusk, just because the guys were having so much fun hamming it up for the audience. I wasn't thinking about turning it into a painting. I was just being a tourist. Later, at home, I took another look and thought, well, maybe with some adjustments, it could be a painting. I knew the first thing I'd need to do was to crop it. I closed in on the interesting part. This highlights what I like to call the narrative, what the painting is about. The figures are the story, so I wanted to give them the most prominence. I also noticed that in the original photo, my eye was bouncing back and forth between the two windows. I had to choose one and crop out the other. I also decided to turn the heads of the two figures in the window so they were looking at each other, creating something of an unspoken dialogue and a little more interest. The next thing I needed to think about was the contrast. Lots of photographs end up in what I like to call mid-tone purgatory. Sometimes that's just fine in a photo, but in a painting, it can lead to the blahs. Having a full range of values from light to dark will add some zing. Here, you can see my original reference photo in black and white and my finished painting also in black and white. Notice the wide range of values and the strong contrast of light and dark at the focal point in the finished painting. Speaking of focal points, a composition needs a focal point or a center of interest. This is true whether your work is representational or abstract. Sometimes the tricky part, though, is to keep that focal point from becoming a target or bullseye. You want the viewer's eye to find the center of interest, but also to move around the painting. The main focal point here is pretty obvious. The two workers looking at each other, the strong horizontal and vertical lines of the scaffolding meeting at the same place as the large dark area meets strong lights. This could easily become that bullseye. The figure on the right, with his arms outstretched, becomes a secondary focal point that helps balance the design. It's not as strong as the primary one. Notice he's against a mid-tone background. If he was also against a dark window, he'd compete instead of balance. Here's my final painting, along with the original photo. I had fun playing with the colors and textures to enliven the scene and add to the narrative of these guys just hamming it up. Here are some other before and afters to check out. So thanks for joining me in the second video in my design series. And always remember to check my Lynn Ferris Watercolors Facebook page for more tips and my website for my workshop schedule. And I hope to see you in a workshop sometime. Happy painting.